Advocates, everybody representing working families, immigrants, and small businesses all support Rashida Tlaib's and Jayapal's measure as necessary help for Americans who can't survive without continuous economic support, and many have said that the ABC Act is a critical lifeline for those whose recovery is leaving behind. So if passed, everybody, the legislation will make that $1,000 checks go to everyone no matter their income level. Do you think this should happen, everybody? Do you believe that President Biden should approve a stimulus check that would go out to everybody? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. We have a ton of views about the fourth stimulus payment, everybody. Continue watching this video to find out when you should expect to receive one.
Patriot, the first woman Secretary of State. She made us all so proud about her commitment to the national security of our country, especially now learning from her right up until the end about her experience coming to the United States as a refugee.
The U.S. Department of Treasury, everybody, announced that there are hundreds of thousands of Americans that could be receiving a $1,400 check this month if they meet all eligibility requirements. If they do meet the eligible requirements. So if you received a second or first stimulus check, listen to this because we got a lot of news to go over. According to a report from the U.S. Department of Treasury, almost 645,000 people were eligible for the third round of checks, stimulus checks, and hadn't got their payments as of mid-September. The American Rescue Plan authorized the federal government to send up to $1,400 to each person who qualified. Starting in March 2021, it was the third and final tranche of federal stimulus funds, authorized by Congress during this time. Now, the money was technically an advance payment of a tax credit. The recovery rate credit, everybody, the households can claim on their 2021 income tax return. According to this week's official report, the IRS had correctly issued payments to nearly 167 million people as of September 16, 2021. Almost 99.5% of the total. But the Treasury identified 644,705 people who hadn't gotten a payment within that time frame. The report said that their missing funds totaled $1.6 billion, and that is ridiculous. An additional 294,000 people, everybody, have been issued stimulus checks by the federal government, but the arrival of those payments was somehow delayed or the funds had not yet been accessed. The IRS has also shared the number of people affected who've gotten a payment since mid-September, and it's unclear. An IRS spokesperson wasn't able to elaborate on the contents of the report by press time. The report data suggested that many of them have gotten their funds or that the IRS is evaluating the payments. So everybody, more than 1.2 million total payments issued, or $1.9 billion worth of money were sent to people who actually shouldn't have got the cash. They included eligible dependents, non-U.S. residents, and duplicate payments made to households or who changed their tax filing status. And Kenneth Corbin, commissioner of the IRS Wage and Investment Division, told reporters in response to the new report. Delivering these payments was no small undertaking. Employees in various IRS offices collaborated to improve delivery of payments each of the 3 times that Congress passed stimulus, so that by the third round, checks started going out the next day, providing immediate help to people across the nation. For instance, there were almost 420,000 people who hadn't received a $1,400 check for an eligible dependent as of April 1st, 2021.
202,000 on initial jobless claims. That's a little bit higher, and of course, it's above the psychological barrier of 200,000, but these are still very, very good numbers. The best level, of course, was 187,000 in the rearview mirror. We'll have to see if that gets revised. 1.307 million on continuing claims. That is a new cycle low, I would say post-COVID, but this goes way beyond post-COVID. Once again, this goes into the 1960s. Here we go. Personal income expected up 0.5%. Delivers up 0.5%. Spending supposed to be up 0.5%. A big miss here, up 0.2%. We know inflation and Russian invasion have eaten into the notion of spending. Real personal spending is down 0.4, of course, adjusted for inflation, and that is a big deal. Now, let's get to the Moneyball numbers. The deflators mean you have to take something away to account for inflation. So the personal consumption expenditure deflator month over month was up 0.6 as expected. You have to go back to 2008 to find a bigger one. On the year over year deflator, that number is 6.4. That is a new cycle high. That takes you back to 1982. If you look at the core ex-food energy deflator month over month. It came out up 0.4. 0.4 is actually easing back from 0.5, which was the highest since '83. And finally, year-over-year core deflator, 5.4%. Well, 5.4% is definitely easing back just a smidge from what we were expecting at 5.5, but it's still a big number. It follows 5.2, and it's the highest level since 1983. Joe, back to you.
Check, and it will be sent out to eligible residents. These payments are to help support people in the state of Maine who have worked amid the crisis. These payments will be worth up to $285, which is a pretty good sized check. You are eligible if you have filed a Maine income tax return for the year of 2020.
The latest from Capitol Hill now, where Democrats are scrambling to finalize the president's social spending plan before he leaves for Europe tomorrow. Democrats are still figuring out how to pay for it all. The latest idea is a billionaire's tax targeting or a tax proposal that would target the wealthiest Americans.
And was a resident of the state for the full year of 2020. You must also have received wages, salaries, or other taxable employee pay for the year. In addition to that, you cannot be claimed as a dependent on another taxpayer's income tax return for 2020. That cannot happen. If it does happen, you won't receive a stimulus check. There is also some good news for those of you that are residents of Maryland. The Maryland Relief Act of 2021 has just started to send out stimulus checks in 2022. Families are set to receive $500 and individuals receive $300 if they filed for the Earned Income Tax Credit. So that's states like California, Maine, and even Maryland sending out more stimulus payments. But we're not done yet, folks. Because more stimulus checks from other states and cities are being sent out. If you're a teacher, you may be eligible for extra stimulus money. Florida will be distributing stimulus payments for first responders and educators who work with students. Teachers and principals are eligible for payments up to $1,000. In the state of Georgia, they have also implemented a similar policy. If you are a teacher or a principal, expect an $1,000 stimulus check. Tennessee will also be doing the same with $1,000 hazard pay bonuses and $500 to part-time educators. Now, it's great to see that many states and cities across the country are sending out their own stimulus checks, but it's going to be great if President Biden does the same. If President Biden's able to send out more stimulus checks, that would be very, very great. But folks, it just seems to me that President Biden is taking too long to send out a stimulus check.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Steve Leisman joins us now with more. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm just looking at these expenditure numbers. They're still positive. I mean, this is sort of the other side of the coin of what we were talking about earlier this morning, Joe. The idea that the Fed is, not ruling out recession, and yet at the same time saying that the economy is strong enough at this point in order to withstand the rate hikes coming.